almost an argument that north of the 2013 version of Richmond, in a sense, with just all the close losses and that sort of thing. How do you see that?
I think we're always going to draw comparisons against Richmond, particularly over the last few years probably with the list build and Damien and I both starting the same year, so there are always going to be those comparisons anyway. But Richmond have shown this year that they're a very capable side and they deserve their spot on the ladder right now with the way they're playing. And we've always known the talent they've got, particularly through the midfield and with Rewalt and Vickery forward. And Aaron Edwards has really added another dimension, and we know Aaron quite well. So they've really improved, and we think we're improving too without getting the results. So this game will probably tell us a lot.
Do you think you guys are at similar stages? Both clubs are at similar stages?
I think we have been for the last 4 years, to be honest. I think that look at some of their elite talent. You can probably draw comparisons to Deledio with Daniel Wells, and I think they're both elite players in the competition. And Trent Cotchin has come in. We've brought in Jack Zeeble and Ben Cunnington. So I think there are a lot of comparisons, and we've enjoyed some pretty good success against them over the last few years. But they're now playing some footy that's worthy of playing finals. So it's going to be a great challenge for us and one we're looking forward to.
Just on finals, have you really told the boys not to think about finals at this stage of the season?
No. To be perfectly honest, it's something the media ask every week, and I just keep giving the same answer. And I suspect it's the same at most other clubs too. If you look too far forward, you take your eye off the ball. So we're just focused on our game this week, and you get to the point where you accumulate enough wins, you play in the finals. So that's the way it works internally at our club anyway. So it's not something we sit down and have a meeting about, are we going to play in the finals? It's about getting our game plan right and executing really well, and when the wins end up, we get there.
Boomer mentioned that Lindsay Thomas had spoken to the players on Monday. Where does that sit from where you are? Obviously, he said it was a silly thing to do. Where do you sit with it?
No, it was, and it was addressed really quickly. Lindsay got on the front foot, spoke to me very early Monday morning, spoke to the players soon after that, and it's a sign of Lindsay's maturity that he's made a mistake. He knows that, knew that straight away, and he was very apologetic, and now we move on really quickly. Lindsay's become one of our most reliable players, but sometimes even your most reliable players do some silly things, and that was certainly something that Lindsay let himself down and let the club down now, but he knows that, and he's addressed it, and we move on really quickly and look forward to getting him back in 2 weeks.
Is there any wider kind of issue? Obviously you've in a competition with fine margins, you've been without key players for a number of matches. You look at Boomer at the start of the year, Zeeble, and then him. Do you think there's any wider issue at play?
Absolutely not. I think you look at Zeebel's never had an issue with discipline. So we've had some well-documented issues there around the way he plays his game and the way that the AFL rules are now. So that's a separate issue. Boomer, I think we had a great example of the lesson that Boomer's learnt with the Ryan Crowley Fremantle stuff. So he responded really well to that. So no, there's absolutely no issue. And as I said, Lindsay Thomas has become one of our most reliable players, and that's why it's so disappointing not to have him, because we know what we're going to get from Lindsay every single week now, which is a huge step forward for him. And he's one of our most important players, and we're going to miss him. But the discipline and the effort of our side for the most part of the year has been very good. It's just been some very specific things that we've got to continue to work on. And when we fix those and we get those results, we know we can compete against the best.
Brett, after all those honourable losses, as we like to call them, getting the win last week, has it given the boys a bit of a boost just on the track?
Look, I think last week was a really strange game. We haven't spent a lot of time on it because we don't suspect we're going to come up against those sort of tactics too regularly. But look, it is true. When you win, you naturally feel better about yourselves. We're all human, so we very quickly move on to the challenge that's Richmond this week, and we know it's going to be a big challenge. And if they continue to play their style of footy and get the game played their way, they're going to be very hard to stop. So we've got to make sure we're on our game.
There's a school of thought that having that good form but not getting over the line can be tiring to a group, and eventually the bubble bursts. Is that a worry with your group? Because they did play some really good footy early, but just didn't get the reward.
No, it's not a worry. I think that there's a sense of excitement of really drilling down on a couple of key things, and if we get those right, then the opportunities are there for us, and we've still got a lot of opportunities coming up, and I think Richmond's a great test because they're right entrenched in the 8 at the moment. They're pushing towards a top 4 position, and we want to see how we can go against a side like that. And we'll go in with a certain degree of confidence of our best is good enough. But if Richmond play to their best and we're not on our game defensively, they'll be a handful.
Damien Hardwick made no bones about it. The thing that they're wariest about with you is your ability to score heavily. What are you wariest about with Richmond?
Well, at the moment, they're scoring incredibly well from set play situations. Their defence is looking really dangerous in terms of rebound. So while they might be looking to stop us score, we're looking to stop their defence scoring against us. Hooley and Delidio and Newman and Morris is starting to really attack the game now. So I think it's going to be a real challenge there because from the back half, they generate a lot of drive from there. So, when you couple that with just an elite midfield, Foley's back in great form. We know Cochin, Martin and Delidio are top line players. So, and when they're delivering it to Vickery, Edwards and Revolt, if it's an open game, they're going to be very hard to stop. So it's going to be a good challenge. No doubt they see some of our strengths, but their strengths are really clear to everyone in the competition at the moment.
And just a word on Aaron Edwards too, obviously coming up against him. I believe he lives with Levi Greenwood as well.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Aaron Edwards. I'm really pleased to see him get another opportunity at AFL level. I think he deserves it. But I think if you look at our side now, we would have loved to have kept him, but we really felt that if Aaron Edwards stayed on our list, then Aaron Black would still be playing in the VFL. So Majak Daw wouldn't have had his opportunity this year. So we're fortunate in terms of the number of key position type forwards we've got in our list. But it was disappointing to lose Azza, but we just had to keep moving forward, and I'm rapt to see him get an opportunity, and I hope he doesn't hurt us.
We're going to see Majak again? What's Majak done wrong, really? I mean, are we going to see him again this season? Well,
Majak played really well for Werribee last year, and I think that he's right in the mix. As you'll see, he's an emergency this week, so he's right on the cusp. But Aaron Black's in great form, and Robbie Tarrant was the best player on the ground at quarter time last week. So unless he can knock Drew Petrie out, he's going to face some stiff competition. But that's good for us, and Madge will keep getting better, and I'm sure we'll see him again.